Episode number 28 of the Third Leg Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Riley Warren. Alongside with me is my co-host, Dr. Dunny. How you doing? How you been, bro?
Hey, I guess I'm doing better now. Last time you talked to me, I was going to Vegas for a bachelor party, came home from Vegas, felt pretty good for a little bit, but turns out I did get the COVID. So I've been down in the dumps for a little bit. Still have a little bit of congestion. You might hear it a little bit. I might cough a couple times, but feeling better. I'm on the up and up, done with the quarantine, done with masking at work. So I'm back to 100, almost to 100%, I should say.
Hey, good to hear, man. I'm glad you recovered fairly quickly. You got to watch out with Vegas, man. What what went with Vegas, it does come back. It does come back. Whatever they
Yeah,
said, what stays there, what goes there, stays there. That's a lie.
they fucking took all my money, gave me COVID, and sent me home. So,
Unlucky. And then so you came back, and then we were moving. Me and pregnant wife,
yep,
were moving. So then that sucked. That was a couple more days, and then our episode with Shaggy, the data corrupted, so that episode got chalked. So it's kind of been a little bit since we got to talk to everyone. So
definitely.
we are back, episode number 28. We're gonna recap week one, what we missed, and then get into week two of college football predictions, upsets, and stuff like that. So
I won't lie, getting through COVID was a little bit easier because college football came back. So, week one recap. What do you got first? What do you want to talk about first?
well, I think we just got to get out of the way, get Colorado out of the way,
All right, all right, all
because
right.
everyone's talking about Colorado for good reason, for good reason. But I think TCU is a little bit, they're kind of getting lucky that Colorado is talking a lot about them because it's just like a one-hit wonder for TCU, coming from last year. So it's kind of tough to see them so down. But it's good to see Colorado doing their thing and Prime doing what he said. He said he was coming. He said that a lot. It was kind of weird, but he wasn't lying.
Absolutely. And I mean, hey, I called it over 3.5 wins if they win week one. Watch it
Hey, he already
jump.
called it, boys. He already called it. He said, I
Obviously,
called it.
they still need 3 more wins for the season to go over. But
It's looking
after
damn
winning week
good.
one, hard not to say that they won't at least compete in every game. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders looks absolutely phenomenal. 510 yards from Sanders. Good God, if Travis Hunter wasn't so good, you would say like, hey, maybe he's a Heisman candidate, but Travis Hunter is going to be the dude who gets all the Heisman talk out of
Yeah,
high
it
school.
was crazy. It was crazy hearing everyone talk about Travis when the quarterback threw for 510.
Right,
510
510
yards, and
yards.
like nobody cared. Like it was a good game. Like people obviously know that it was a good game, but the fact that it went underlooked that much is crazy. Just seeing the stat line the rest of the day, 510, I was like, Jesus Christ. They
Right,
did what they said they were about to do.
absolutely. But hats off to Travis Hunter. 110 snaps, and I think they said like 120, 130-degree heat. Absolutely ridiculous. And the man said, let's line it up and do it again. I'm ready to go right after the game. It's the reason he wears the D on his jersey. So Dion doesn't give out captains, he gives out
Dogs.
L's and D's. So 2 leaders, 2 dogs, and Travis Hunter is one of the dogs. So
I
looking
mean,
forward
if
to
you play
watching him
off,
play.
yeah, you play offense and defense and you're actually doing shit on both sides, you're a dog.
Yep, for sure, for sure, for sure.
And
All right.
obviously he could have went anywhere, so it's cool that
Oh,
he's doing it in Colorado.
definitely, definitely. But enough about Colorado. Move on. What the two biggest upsets I think that no one saw coming? Baylor, what the fuck happened? Minus 27.5 to Texas State and lose. And then Clemson, what the fuck happened? Favored big against Duke. I think it was 15 or 16.5. And lose to Duke at home. Like, good God.
And that's right after letting go of your quarterback and seeing him do well, earlier in the day. DJ.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, he did ball out.
So it's kind of tough to see. I mean, it wasn't the biggest one, but I was just so surprised how flat Clemson was in
Right.
playing
I
Duke.
mean,
It wasn't
obviously,
like they came out and had to play Florida State or something. They had to play Duke. And
right.
not taking anything away from Duke, but yeah.
Turnovers played a huge role. Obviously, Duke. Though, when you think of Duke, you think basketball, maybe lacrosse, not football. Like,
No, you would never think football.
Right.
Well,
So,
congrats to Duke, though. I mean, they came out big. Maybe they're actually going to do shit this year and run the ACC themselves.
hey, between them and Florida State looked damn good against LSU. So we'll see. We'll see.
Which was surprising. LSU was flat as hell, too.
Right. And
They,
I fucking was talking up LSU big time before that game, too. God damn it.
hey, I talked them up when we did the whole conference breakdown. I thought they were going to do well. I still think they can do well in the division, but they played terrible week one. And that's going to
They
happen
got a
sometime. So,
they got a big mountain to climb for sure.
yeah. And, one of the toughest fucking divisions ever.
Right. Right.
The
Exactly.
gauntlet.
Um, And for the things for the in-state people, Michigan and Michigan State both won. State did cover against Central Michigan, though they looked flat in the first half. And then Michigan 30-0 turned into 30-3 with the last second kick. But we got the dub. That's all that matters. We move on.
MSU's quarterback looked decent, right?
Yeah, and the running back ran the ball pretty damn good from forget where he transferred from UConn. He transferred from UConn. His last name's Carter. I think I tweeted out take his over to Shaggy for his rush yards right before the game, 56.5, I think is what they had it set at. The man had over 100 yards. So be looking for that one coming up soon too.
Thanks for my text, bro. I like free money too.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
It's all good. All good.
Um
Yeah.
the next two that I kind of want to touch on, Oregon Ducks, Oklahoma Sooners. Jesus Christ.
Come on, give them a break. Just because you're paying them a lot of money to come to your venue does not mean you can do that to them.
Right. Oregon, I think it was 81-7 or something like that. And then Oklahoma was 77-0, I'm pretty sure.
You should never be scoring 80 points in a game in college football, especially week one, week two.
Bo Nick
You're
out
bringing
there
in
having
shit
fun.
schools.
Right.
I mean, that's
exactly.
when that's like you're playing college football on 15-minute quarters trying to go for Heisman or something when you're younger. Like, come on.
You're playing
Come
your
on.
little bro or little sis, like, hey, come play this new game with me. Yep. I shout out to Oregon Ducks, their mascot. You know, his arms still probably aren't recovered. He had to do like 546 push-ups because he doesn't
Oh
push
my
up
God.
for every point they get, and then it stacks, obviously. So 7 and then 14. Yeah. So 81 points is a lot, and I'm sure he was cussing out the coach and the players like, "Come on, dude, why do I gotta do
500
this?"
plus.
Yep.
500 plus in the fucking duck suit. Not like he's just sitting
Right.
out there in some gym clothes. He's sweating his ass off. I want to see what he looks like. He's got to be yoked.
Just absolutely jacked after this week.
He's got
Good
to be.
God. I quit. Walk off.
No, he gets a raise. There's some kind of incentive. You
Give me
got to
that
do
full
over
ride.
500. Here's an extra hundy.
I need that NIL money from Nike.
Facts.
Oklahoma, okay, tore it up. They looked really good. Obviously, Big 12 is going to be a different story when they get into Big 12 games, but still, they look pretty damn good. Going from teams that looked really good to teams that looked kind of shaky to start the season, at least in my eyes, Georgia and Ohio State. Both teams, obviously, that competed for a national championship last year, had really good offenses, quarterbacks that knew the system, knew where to go with the ball, and then their offense kind of looked shady to start the season. So, what do you think? Is it just early game jitters, or are they going to turn it around, or do you think they could be in trouble?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a little bit of combination, but I think the majority of it is just early game scheme. Quarterback needs to get in-game reps. It's a little faster in game than seeing it in Skelly and what you're seeing it in spring ball and shit. So they're two brand new quarterbacks into great offensive schemes and shit that's already been in place. So it's kind of like just getting the ball rolling, getting the machine oiled, and then I think a couple games get down the road, they're gonna look a lot better. I don't think there's gonna be a huge like regression at least from week one. So
Yeah, and some people, at least in favor of what you're saying, were tweeting out videos of C.J. Stroud struggling his first couple games at Ohio State, and then at the end of the season, obviously he was doing what he was doing. But you never know, right? That's why they have 4 or 5 quarterbacks on the roster, and they're all 5 stars ready to go whenever needed.
yeah, that'll be that is always like the dilemma when you have that many. They're kind of just sitting around waiting. They're kind of hoping he doesn't do great. You don't want to
Right.
lose because you want to be put in a good spot, but regardless, you want to start. So it's going to be tough. I seen people saying that they thought Ohio State was going to lose 3-4 games this year. If that shit happens, there's going to be a couple quarterbacks getting carouseled around.
For sure. And I saw someone tweet about Ryan Day without a phenomenal quarterback.
Oh
They
yeah.
call them Charlie Weiss.
Yeah.
Another thing that I saw, kind of a changing of the guard over the last few years for college football, and I hadn't thought about it. It's kind of natural. The SEC, obviously, Alabama owned it. Georgia now is taking it over. ACC, Clemson owned it. Florida State this year looks like they might be the team that has to be reckoned with, and then Big Ten, Michigan's coming home. So kind of changing of the guard for college football. It's going to happen every 5-10 years. So now
Right.
it's our turn.
Did you see the new rule change? It's the time it doesn't stop after first downs unless it's under 2 minutes.
Is it 2 or 5? But
2
anyways,
minutes.
I did notice that, and I was like, "Oh, that's kinda weird." Speed the game up
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't speed the game up at all. I think it's a stupid rule. I liked it before.
Where the game would the timer stop on a first down.
Yeah, for college.
For sure. I mean, it just makes it different than the NFL, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
trying to keep them separate.
I don't know. I just didn't like it. I feel like it just because it's been like that. Not even the fact that like it's college or NFL, but it's just like what are we tinkering with? Like, what do you guys are you got how much time are you guys trying to save for like ads and shit rather than like actually trying to fine tune the game? Where that's where it becomes weird for me. Like how many more timeouts and time off air can we
Right.
get?
Right.
That's where it becomes weird for me. I don't like that shit. Just because you're fucking with the game, and I don't
I
want to
didn't
sound
think
like an
about it
old
like
headed baseball guy, but you're
that.
just kind of you can just like picture him like how could we squeeze a little bit more juice out? How could we squeeze just a couple more bucks out of this? And that's one way.
Yeah, if we get them to the TV timeout even quicker, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah. Hey, I didn't even think about it that way. So, yeah,
But
props
yeah,
off to you.
yeah,
That's
we'll see about that. I
for
seen a
sure.
couple of people talking about it. It wasn't just me, but yeah, a couple of people are talking about it. I seen like they had like I should have pulled it up, but they had like actual timers of what it would actually save, and it's nothing.
Oh,
It's
damn.
not like you're not doing much for the game, but on the back end, there's a little more
Okay.
revenue on that side. But
All
yeah,
right. All right.
I don't know about the ACC. The ACC is so weird to me still. Just talking about the changing of the guard for college football. SEC, Georgia owned. It's going to be Bama, Georgia, Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State. ACC is weird. I think that's the one conference that can like change year in and year out and have
Right.
like 2 year stints, 2 year stints, 2 year stints where the other the other league or the other conferences are pretty consistent. Maybe you have a Penn State, but they rarely win, the actual conference. They might have like a 10 win season or something like that, but just like Tennessee, but there's just not that many teams that can actually go out and win the conference. Where ACC, I feel like it's just going to be a toss up for the next few years.
For sure. For sure. Well, as far as week one, that's pretty much the recap for me. You got anything else you want to add before we get going with week two?
Nope, that's all I needed to get off my chest. We move on to week two.
All right. Week two. Give me one. Give me a play you like. What do you got? What do you got?
All right, so one play I do like. I think everyone's on it. Let's get it out of the way. We like Colorado over here. That's one that we're both on. Dunny, I'll let you talk about what you did, but I like Colorado straight up. I like their -3. Um, that's all day for me. I like Utah -7.5 versus shitty Baylor team. I mean, they lost 42-31 to Texas State. There's supposed to be like 60 points in this game with the over under, and I don't see Baylor. I don't see Baylor putting up 30 plus to win this game. So that's one of my favorite ones was Utah versus Baylor, and then UTEP versus Northwestern. I think I might fade Northwestern every single game this year and see what the units are looking like at the end of the year.
Hey, I love it. I love it. The little experiment. You never know.
They look
Um,
abysmal.
they do, and I watched some of that game because I had Northwestern plus 14. And oh my God, it took me
All
2
the
times, and I was like,
agony.
"Yep, we lost."
Yeah. Am I watching Division Two football?
Right. Literally, quarterback's trying to throw it away, throws it straight to the defender. Like, awesome. Awesome. Great job, dude. They ran a fake punt, and the dude didn't run past the sticks.
Mm,
Got got tackled out of bounds, 1 yard
no
short.
shot.
Yep. So
Oh,
so just all around great football from Northwestern so far this year. Week 2, some plays that I like. You already mentioned it. Colorado -3 versus Nebraska. Home game, game 1 for Dion and the boys in Boulder. They're gonna run it up. They're gonna do what they do. They're gonna play his theme music and watch it happen. Um, when this was minus, I think 2.5 is when I got it before it went to -3. On Saturday night, Sunday morning, put 4 units on it already. So typically for me, a 5 unit is a max. I put 4 units on it just because that's what me and another guy were talking about. So we're already in for 4 units on Colorado. I
I
do
love
think
it.
I'll probably place another bet on it before the end of the week because I just don't see where Nebraska can keep up as far as speed and playing in elevated air. It does take a toll, and Colorado's hot. So let's see what happens, right? You never know.
Dude, just imagine being there. I would love to be at this Colorado game because
The
week 1,
atmosphere.
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of the atmosphere is going to be crazy, but the people and like how much money Colorado is going to put into making this place look amazing. Like I think the stadium and the tailgate and the whole experience is going to be fucking nuts because they're going to try to go crazy because that last game they had and all the momentum coming up to this year.
Right.
So I
And
think their first home game is going to be nuts.
like these people are invested in this team. They signed Dion without having the money for Dion and then raised money through donations from their people. So
I
like
said, yeah, we'll get it.
don't worry, we
We'll
don't
get
have
it.
it
Just
yet.
sign right here.
We'll
We'll get
get
it.
it.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
Exactly.
I know
Exactly.
people. Trust me.
So go Buffs. This will be win 2 for them on the road to over 3.5. So
Oh
go
yeah,
Buffs.
I did want to say one thing. There's no such thing as a trap game. Everybody loves that term. It's a
Right.
trap line. It's a trap line. They're all just lines. Like if you just woke up from a coma and looked at them, they're all just lines. There's no trap lines. Vegas is doing their thing. It's not one guy. It's like a lot of wheels turning to spit these numbers out. So I don't know. I don't believe in the term trap line. I've seen it so much in the last few days. It's not a thing. Just stop saying it.
I will say the one thing that does scare me is the books lost the most amount of money on Colorado week 1. Week 2, what I heard, I can't confirm, but that there's been more spread bets on Colorado this week than there has been for all 16 NFL games combined.
Holy
More money.
shit.
So it's like, oh my
Oh,
God.
they can't lose. They cannot afford to lose.
But
But
hopefully
we
they
still
don't.
hammer it. We're part of the we're the degenerate majority right now.
Amen. Um, game 2 that I like, you already mentioned it, Utah -7.5 at Baylor. Obviously, do you think Baylor is going to rebound? Probably, but they just got their ass kicked against Texas State. Did they put up a lot of yards? Yeah. But Utah looked good against Florida. Florida's a good SEC team. Well, I guess I shouldn't say good SEC team. They're an
They're an
SEC team,
SEC.
right? Which is typically good football. Utah obviously won the Pac-12 last year, returned a lot of key players, looked good week 1. I look for them to keep it rolling in Baylor and cover the 7.5 without a sweat.
Yep.
Um, week 2, game 3 for me. Another favorite. I'm all on the favorites as far as like what I like to bet this week.
Chalky.
Who cares? Um, Oregon -6.5 at Texas Tech. So this is another one where Oregon just dominated last week. They looked super good. Texas Tech, on the other hand, not so much. So how it's only a 6.5 point spread, I haven't figured it out yet. Obviously, Vegas has those wheels spinning that as you were referring to, and they kick out this number for a reason.
Yep, that's what they do. They spit it out.
But I don't see a scenario in which Oregon doesn't cover a touchdown. So I'll take Oregon and give you the 7 if you want it. And the last game I have is Oklahoma minus 15.5 versus SMU. So Oklahoma at home, they just put up 77 points and blanked their opponent. SMU, I think they did win last week, but it was a game in which they gave up points, they gave up yards. Oklahoma obviously is a higher uh, caliber opponent than what they played last week, so I look for them to blow them out.
I like it.
Perfect. You got any other plays that you like?
I am curious on Washington State versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin's first road game with Luke Fickell. There's supposed to be 60 points scored in this game as well. So it'll be, if it happens, it'll be really exciting to see Wisconsin score 30 plus points in a game. But I'm kind of, that's an exciting game for me. And then the Iowa State game, we get an in-state rivalry already. That's exciting. I think I would lean Iowa minus 3.5.
Okay.
I think that Cade got a week under his belt. I think they have more talent around the ball, and I think even though it's in Iowa State, who really cares at the end of the day? And then I do like Texas, or I do like Alabama. I like Alabama. I'm gonna say it. Roll Tide. Jalen Milroe. Come on now.
Someone get the clip. Someone get the clip.
Texas 2-5 in its last 7 games against SEC opponents, including 0-4 in the last regular season matchups. Fucking Alabama 13-5 at home against the spread over the last 3 seasons. So I mean, it's hard to go against the Tide and Nick Saban, especially in big games before they've even lost the game yet. So for me, I always give them the benefit of the doubt until they lose, but I can't pick them to lose before they lose. It's just a thing.
Okay, I see how it is.
So week 2, I'm just gonna think Nick Saban's got the guys ready. They're coming off 11-2 season last year and missing the playoffs, and it's been like the worst year since 2019 for them. You would just imagine that Nick Saban's got them ready this year and, kind of try to pay the dues of the failures of last year. So I'm just going to roll with a Nick Saban revenge tour and give me him at minus 7.5.
I don't hate it. Quinn Ewers, we're going to clip it and send it to him because he was all big and happy about you being on his team for the Big 12 talk that we had, but it's fine. Some underdogs that I like to cover the spread. If you want to bet some underdogs this week, I'm looking at Vanderbilt plus 10 against Wake Forest.
No, you're not.
I know.
Didn't we talk about Vanderbilt? The way you said that so fast and was like, Vanderbilt plus 10. Like you didn't even want to say it. You know that was bullshit.
I don't want anyone to hear it, but this is what I'll say. 10 points is a lot to lay. And I don't think Wake Forest is that strong of a team. So getting 10 points, 2 scores, I feel like, I just got a feeling. So go with it, fade it, whatever you want to do. But I've got a feeling it's going to be plus 10. Vanderbilt will cover that. And then another game is Texas State plus 13. It's up to 13.5 now versus UTSA. So these are 2 teams that, you don't really know a lot about. But Texas State showed up and played good football against Baylor last week and beat Baylor when it mattered the most. Their quarterback looked good. He's a transfer. It's 13.5 right now for minus 110. When I looked before the episode started, you could alter the spread to plus 14 at minus 129. I can only imagine it's around minus 120 now for plus 14. So do it, buy the points, get the 2 touchdowns that you have, and see, let's roll the hot hand. Texas State plus 14 against UTSA.
I mean, I'll take it. Little Texas on Texas
matchup.
Texas on Texas matchup plus 14. I mean, we know they score a lot of fucking points down there. A lot of those teams like UTEP, UTSA, Texas State, like they all are just known to be scoring a lot of points. So either way, that game will be exciting for sure.
And then if you're looking at potential sprinkle of the money line, plus 400 is what DraftKings has at it right now. Do I think they'll win again? Probably not, but I think they look to carry their momentum going forward. And then my last underdog that I am going to take, going against Riley, hook 'em horns, baby.
Oh God.
Texas plus 7.5 with a little sprinkle of the money line. Quinn Ewers last year, before he got hurt against Alabama, was 9 of 12 for I think 100 something yards. The kid looked good. He's not afraid of the big game. Texas, they gotta at least show that they can handle the SEC a little bit. And why not have Nick Saban lose to Sarkisian to create that story for next year building? Is Alabama done now that Texas and Oklahoma are coming in? We'll see. Quinn Ewers, go win the Heisman. Go show Saban what's up and say Texas is here to stay. We're going to be whooping your ass for the next few years. Plus
Hey,
seven and a half, sprinkle the money line.
that'd be the way to do it. I respect it. One little tidbit here. Alabama versus Texas. First time it's in Tuscaloosa since 1902.
God damn.
1902. Any other time it's been neutral site or it's been in Texas.
Okay. So the first
So
time
this
they've
is
been
a little
allowed back.
historical game. Yeah, there's a little history to this one. Over
Okay.
100
Okay.
years in the making. So
I like it a lot. You have anything else that you any bets that you're leaning or anything like that right now?
no, but I would like to just reference that Nebraska's quarterback threw 3 picks last week. So just imagine if Travis gets a pick and a tutty, and this could be the turn and the snowball effect to winning the fucking Heisman, or at least just being a top 3 from nothing.
For sure. I mean, truthfully, like, okay, I get Caleb Williams is great and he's putting up big numbers. But if you have a dude who's playing 110 snaps, how's he not the best player in college football?
Yeah, he's definitely the yeah. If he keeps it up and he stays healthy, which I fucking hope happens
Right.
to everyone, but especially him, because it's such a blessing to see him play ball on both sides. You don't see that. There's so many players that could do it, but it's just like you're not him.
He
Like
is
you
him.
could and you did it. Like 90% of college football players played both sides in high school, but you're just not him. You couldn't really do it like that. You can't specialize on both sides of the ball like that. And you get a couple people that just slip through the cracks every now and again. And it's just like a blessing to watch them play.
Absolutely.
Even
I
if
couldn't
it's
say
in
it better.
Colorado. It'd be
Right.
cooler if he was on Michigan, but it's cool.
It's fine, dude. Whatever team you want to go
We'll get
to.
the next one.
Knock on wood, knock on wood. Some props that aren't out yet for college football, but I'm a big prop guy. I like watching and trying to snipe some lines here.
Oh yeah,
Things that I'll be
baby.
looking at. Michael Penix Jr. over his pass yards. Never again will I not take this line if it's under 300. So the boy spins the football and they beat the shit out of whoever they played last week. I can't even remember who it was. And they're going to be looking to do it again and again and again. They're coming to East Lansing week 3. So
Oh fuck.
look to take it again in week 3. But yes, Michael Penix Jr. over his pass yards as long as it's under 300 yards. Another one, I kind of mentioned this when we did the Big Ten breakdown. Braylon Allen, running back for Wisconsin, he had I think 14 carries this past week and went for 117 yards or something like that. So the kid is going to go over his rush yards. It was listed at 91.5 last week. If it's around that 90,
Damn.
I'm still going to take it again. The kid can run the football. And Wisconsin, that's what they're known for.
Yeah, the big boys up front, dude. They always have a massive fucking line up front.
For sure. And I mean, you look at the history of running backs for Wisconsin, like it's some pretty damn good names.
It's some studs.
The third guy I'm looking at, Quinn Ewers over his pass yards. If as long as it's around like the 250 or under, obviously don't go crazy with it if it's over that. But like I said, he showed he could play against Alabama last year. he needs to show he can play again this year in order to keep his job and put himself in the best situation for moving forward as far as NFL draft, Heisman Trophy, money, everything. So Quinn Ewers, he has a big game this week against Alabama. Take his pass yards over. And then the last one, it hurts me to say it because it's an Ohio State Buckeye, but Marvin Harrison Jr. over
Tutty.
his receiving yards or
I was about to
touchdown,
say he's due.
literally over all of his stats, because what you just said is for sure. He is due. The man only had 2 catches, and he is being talked about as the best receiver to come out for the NFL since Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. So the boy can catch the ball. Take his over for whatever you can find, receiving receptions, receiving yards, or touchdowns. I do think he has a big week this week, and Ohio State looks a little bit more normal.
I like that. I like that a lot. They got to get him right. They got to keep him happy in the locker room. They just got to keep him happy, get him right. So they're gonna target him like 10 times next week.
Right.
Definitely gonna get a red zone target or 2. Let him go make a play.
For sure. Someone was talking about how he might do the Jackson Smith and Jigba and decide to sit out the rest of the year. I'm like, please don't. We want to see the best kids on the field. Like, come on. We don't want to
But if he
hear.
already knows he's gonna be wide receiver 1 in the draft, then
It's true.
your name and what you've already done. You're just a stud. So it's hard to. This is money, life-changing money. Obviously, he ain't broke.
It
But
ain't
it's
life changing for him.
it's life-changing money for the next few generations of Harrison. So you can't hate on it. But yeah, that is like a weird topic. People get pissed when people sit out in meaningless bowl games. So just imagine what people would feel like for whole seasons, or even after one game, being like, yeah, fuck it.
Well, I didn't get my 5-6 catches I wanted, so I'm calling it good. See me in the NFL draft.
Yeah, number 1 pick. He got 2 catches all of last year.
Stupid. But hey, that's the week 2 lookout that I've got going. I'm glad you're finally moved into the house. You're a little bit closer. We can get together. We'll probably be looking at doing TikTok live, YouTube live, Facebook live for everyone getting together to watch a game here soon. So
100%. We'll be doing watch parties and shit.
Definitely. Having a few of the adult waters that you just showed. So
the adult beverages.
We don't want to say what it is. Yep.
Beveraginos.
Amen.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
All right. That's episode 28, College Football Breakdown, week 2. We'll be seeing you for episode 29 in a few days. You
Absolutely.
Say, Dunny?
Yeah. I'm going to Michigan game this weekend. So if anyone is at the Michigan game or wants to tailgate, hit me up. I will be down there on the golf course. Probably not standing too tall, but stumbling around a little bit. So find me. You see the big guy with the beard? That's probably me. So
yeah, shoot him a DM him if you're actually going to go to the game.
Absolutely.
Hit him up on Twitter. You guys can link up.
For sure.
All right, boys. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you next time. We appreciate it.
Peace.